Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes? Matt here from YoVideogames, and I'm back again with another video. This time I'm thinking way ahead into the future, and that is I'm thinking about the PlayStation 6 and things I would like to see Sony fix on the PlayStation 6. PS5 is 5 years, nearly 5 years into its life. It's easy to say, I think it's safe to say, we are actually on the back half. We are over the hill. We are, in our retirement age of the PS5, which is crazy to think about because I feel like that system never got off the ground. But, I digress. PS6 is an inevitability. It's probably happening pretty soon, and it's sooner than later. And let's jump into what I think, or not even what I think. These are not think. This is what I want. This is what I want. Get the 6 fixes for PS6. And first, jumping in, the most unlikely, this will never happen. I think Sony would probably murder a kitten on stage before doing this, and that is make PlayStation Plus free again. And that'll never happen. End of story right there. Now, they have 3 tiers for the PlayStation Plus now, which I think is kind of silly. I don't know why. I have no idea why anyone would go with the middle tier. Wouldn't you you'd either just go with the basic tier or the extra bundle tier? But once upon a time, PlayStation Online was free. It was free on PS2. It was free on PS3, and then the hackers came. And then they decided hey, let's charge for it. Now here's the crazy thing. Steam, to this day, doesn't charge to use online features in video games. Like, PC gaming is still free. And hell, it's a reason I see all the time why people say they've moved to PC, or why they stayed on PC, or why they've kind of ditched consoles in general. They don't want to do paying for online gameplay. Just the fact of paying for that was something Microsoft invented for the Xbox Live 20 years ago. But Sony thought, okay, well, you know what? We gave people free online for a couple of console generations. Now it's time to charge them just to play online. I think this would be a huge boost to Sony's morale. Maybe they don't, and of course, maybe they don't need it, and they really don't need it. They've already kind of killed Xbox. But the fact of the matter is that people are going to move further and further into PC. PC gaming is definitely on the rise, and people enjoy the convenience and also frankly, the cost saving that comes with playing games on Steam. And I think it would be in Sony's best interest to just make online gameplay free again on PlayStation. I think that would be a huge thing because myself, this is a personal list that I'm making here. Welcome. Myself, I am a bit on the verge, and I am probably going to, at some point this year, cancel my PlayStation Network subscription. I don't use it enough. I don't need it enough. So if they made online gameplay free, that would entice me to stick into the PlayStation ecosystem. Again, you can still have your 3 tiers. You can have your Plus and Premium, but I think PlayStation Plus Essential should be free going into PS6, and I think PlayStation Plus Extra and PlayStation Plus Premium, sure, they can have tiers because they offer things. Take away the free games, take away the cloud saves, take away other, whatever stuff. But just let us connect to each other for free. Now, here's the crazy thing: is you can play Fortnite on PlayStation and not subscribe to PSN. And Sony did that because they knew that Fortnite would become less played on the PlayStation if it cost people money to play it there, and it was free to play everywhere else, including Nintendo and Xbox. So again, I see in a day and age where games like Fortnite are forever games and other free-to-play stuff, I see no reason why Sony still needs to be this overtly greedy and charge for online. It does nothing but just it's a parking garage, okay? It's like you own a parking lot in the middle of the inner city. You do nothing with it. You spend nothing on it. You just charge people to use it, and you just rack up money. It's just a money racketing scheme at this point. So I would personally love to see PlayStation Plus go back to being free. And again, the only reason they are charging money is because for Sony, it's a parking lot for them. I own this dumpy, easy to, just park your car. I do nothing with it. I just sit here and suck up money like a parking garage. Anyways, Moving on to my next thing, something a little more likely to happen, but probably not. Nah, this ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna be real. I fucking hate the PlayStation 5 controller. Hate it. Absolutely loathe this controller. And more than just, okay, beyond my own personal, I hate the way this thing feels. It's a big, bulky, bullshit thing controller. We are paying out the ass for features we don't give a flying fuck about. The controller that comes with the console could not feature most of the bullshit in this controller, and we would be totally fine with it. Again, I speak for everyone when I say if the PlayStation 6 controller was just the DualShock 6, didn't have the weird force feedback triggers, didn't have the HD rumble, didn't have even a touchpad, no one would care. We'd be perfectly fine. Hell, anyone who's tried hooking up this behemoth to a PC knows the annoyance where when you put this thing into a PC and it takes over your audio settings because the microphone port on this thing wants to take over all of your microphone and headset settings on your PC. And that is just such a pain in the fucking ass. And I've seen it happen at trade shows. I've seen it happen with capture equipment all the time. This system, this controller alone, this controller is the cause of multiple headaches at every fucking event it goes to. And I think just stripping it down to a DualShock 6 would be the perfect way to go about it. And hell, if you want to sell $100, $200 DualSense Premium Plus, whatever, fine. Sell your $200 premium version of your controller, but nobody gives a fuck about the touchpad or the force feedback sticks or the big old HD rumble. We don't want to pay a $70 tax on a controller for features we don't use. We'd rather just have a good ass controller, which is what the DualShock was, which is why it remained relatively unchanged for 3 console generations. Bring that shit back. Hell, just bring back the design of the DualShock 4 with or without the touchpad. But yeah, I hate this controller. I fucking hate it. I wish it would burn in a fire and die forever. I hate it so much. Make the controller better. It is seriously at a point where if the controller is just as shitty on the PS6, nah, I might become PC Gamer Matt. So, moving on. The next thing, and this maybe is going to happen, maybe, probably not, but you know what Sony should really do? They should really dig into their old IPs. I'm so sick of chasing, we all laughed at Microsoft for being Halo Gears Forza for so long. And Sony's kind of turning into God of War, Horizon, Last of Us. Now, don't get me wrong, they're nowhere near as bad as those dark days on Xbox where it was literally just those 3 franchises. They've got other stuff coming. They got Intergalactic, they got other stuff. But Sony has this weird sort of leave that IP in the past. Okay, we did Jak and Daxter on PS2, no more Jak and Daxter on PS3 or ever again. The only franchise I think that's kind of survived multi-generations, besides Gran Turismo, which is just cars, is Ratchet and Clank. But there's so many IPs that I feel are just sort of like, yeah, well, whatever, fuck them. Like, we don't care about them anymore. Jak and Daxter being my personal favorite. You've got other things that they could dig into and bring up, like Mark of Kree, a hyper-violent, but sort of Disney-esque animated-looking combat action game in a world of God of War. Could you imagine having a sort of cartoonish Invincible versus looking Mark of Kree game that's just super gory and awesome? You play as a Maori warrior, just Polynesian, warrior pummeling the shit out of people, ripping them in half. It would be fantastic. And then of course you've got other things. If you wanted to dig into sort of the level 5 stuff like Dark Cloud and Rogue Galaxy, would love to see those get a second lease at life. I don't know if it'd be worth working with level 5 anymore. But again, that's to say nothing of Infamous, of Killzone, of Resistance, of all these other IPs that Sony were just like, well, they had their shot, time to move on, never again kind of thing. It's one thing that kind of particularly baffles me because these were successful games. They were successful and they sold well and they had fan bases. But Sony is just kind of like new generation, new IPs, and like leave them behind. And I'm all for doing new IPs, but Sony's of a weird mindset where it's kind of like, once we get to a new generation, that's it. We're gone forever. And I think that's kind of a bummer. I think a really hot new Jack and Daxter game would be a good thing. And hell, there's been so many thousands of people laid off in the last couple of years. I'm sure one of them you could scrabble together and make a new studio. Instead of making a fucking live service hero shooter game, why don't you get a bunch of talented ex-devs and have them make a new Jack and Daxter game that can sell continuously forever and doesn't require people to be online to play it? What a genius idea I have here. Maybe Sony should look into it. But yeah, I think it's time going into PS6. It would be great to sort of dig into some of their beloved but like forgotten IPs in the past. And yeah, Jack and Daxter is at the front of the list for that for me. So yeah, I'm sure there's plenty more that you guys would love to see brought back too. I didn't even mention Legend of Dragoon, but Legend of Dragoon doesn't deserve it. Nextly, I am going to talk about something that's a pet peeve. Not really like, oh, this is a problem, this is a pet peeve. But for your next console, Sony, could you really just do me a solid? Again, I'm from the era of I remember when it was so great when the N64 and the Dreamcast had 4 controller ports. Can you put the fucking USBs on the front of the console? I don't know who or what decided that, hey, let's put shit on the back of the console. We'll put 1 or 2 at the front, and then we'll put the rest in the back. But could you put more USBs on the front? I don't want to, like, go around. I don't want to give my console a fucking reach around every time I want to plug an arcade stick in, okay? Like, put 4 fucking USBs in the front. I don't know why this seems like a weird thing to do. I'm not a hardware manufacturer or an engineer. Maybe there's some reason, but I doubt it. Just put the USBs in the front. Like, Xbox and PlayStation are super guilty of this. The Switch is also weird about this. They put it on the side. Put those fuckers on the front and put 4 of them up there. Again, if you go to any tournaments, if you go to any events, if you have friends, it's a pain in the fucking dick to try to sit there and sync 4 controllers and do all this shit. Oh, let me slide it in, let me click it in, let me plug it in the back and the front and the back, and oh, okay, like, oh, you like that? Do you like it in the front? Do you like it more in the back? Do you not want to see my face when I do it? But just put your USB ports in the front. Fuck. Like, it's a small thing, but it's something I would really fucking like to see. I would like to see a convenient return to form. Put 4 USB things in the front. Let us all look at each other. Look, I want to stare my friends in the face when I plug my socket into the controller port, okay? So bring that back. Front-facing USBs. Jesus. Lastly, the thing I would like to see more is 100% backwards compatibility. Now, here's something you may not know. Sony makes the most profit. They make on disk drive PS5s. They actually took a little bit of a loss on the digital-only PS5s, even though they want to go to an all-digital future. But because optical drives are so cheap, they actually literally make money by selling a $100 more expensive version of the PS5 and sticking a $20 to $30 optical drive on it. And the thing is I don't want the optical drive to go away. Keep the optical drive. What you should do, because PS6 is going to have so much goddamn juice under its hood, you should be able to stick any fucking disc from any generation prior, including the PlayStation 3. You definitely could do it by now. You should have full 100% backwards compatibility. PS5 is backwards compatible with the PS4, and the PS6 is definitely going to be backwards compatible with the PS5. So you're going to have the last 3 generations. You're going to have those 3 generations will be taken care of. PS1, PS2, and PS3 could easily stick a disc in, and it could emulate them perfectly fine. Well, maybe not perfectly, but perfectly enough. And that would be such a huge selling point. Imagine just like PS6, it plays every single generation of PlayStation game. You have a disc from any generation of PlayStation, stick it in, it plays. Now, obviously, the online's not going to run for PS3 games, but that would be a huge win. It's not going to be something that necessarily, sells the console. The console's going to sell on the name alone, but that's going to be a huge selling point. You want to know why Steam is winning the console war so hard, even though it's not a console? One reason Steam wins is because Steam hasn't changed, ever. People's library that's on Steam has been there for 20 plus years if they went that far back. Like, Steam is forever. And honestly, PlayStation's the only one in any position to actually do this and sit there and say, you know what? You could play 30 years, 35 years, 40 years, even when it gets there, you could play 30 plus years of PlayStation games on one console. All those discs, assuming they haven't rotted, all those discs could actually be played on a PlayStation 6. That is something they could easily, feasibly do. I know Sony probably wants to just get rid of the optical drive entirely. Welcome to our all-digital future. You don't own games. You license them out. You rent them from us, and we can take them away whenever we want. Fuck you. But frankly, this would be a huge selling point. The entire console library of PlayStation playable in one place. So that is my wish. That is my fix for the PlayStation 6. These are things I think would just make me excited for the PS6. Because right now, after a whole generation of just sort of apathy with the PlayStation 5, I think the only thing that would actually make me excited for PS6 would be these 5 things. Let me know what your 5 things would be for PlayStation 6. What is it going to take to get you excited about the next Sony gen? And maybe I helped you along. Maybe there's something you'll agree with some of these ideas. Maybe you won't. Let me know what you guys think. What are some things that you would like to see on the PS6? And I'll see you on the channel later, dudes.